Let us call the June 30th, 2016 meeting of the Spokane Regional Health District Board of Health to order. This afternoon, we are expecting a quorum, but are currently one member short. So let us begin with the roll call, starting with Bob Lutz.
Bob Lutz, appointed member.
Brian Beggs, Spokane City Council.
Kevin Freeman, City of Millwood.
Lori Kinnear, City of Spokane.
Keith Baldwin, appointed member.
Michelle Fossum, Legal Counsel.
And Pittsnoggle, Recording Secretary.
Next on our agenda is citizen input. Do we have any citizen input this afternoon? No citizen input. I guess I should make the call from the floor once, twice, three times. Seeing no citizen input. Chair report. That's me. Can we begin with me? Let's begin with me. Please remember today that only 6 microphones can be on at one time. Please turn our microphones off when not speaking. We would like to begin today by recognizing a significant contributor to our community and community health in Ms. Lynn Everson. Ms. Everson has worked at the health district since May 1st, 1989. She's been with the district 27 years. Approximately 2 years starting after the district, she began the needle exchange program here in Spokane County. Lynn's been serving Spokane County residents who are in the greatest need for more than 25 years. Her focus has been in the reduction of transmitted diseases. She's been known for collecting toiletries, socks, sweaters, and other items to hand out to those in need, and building strong relations and trust with the people she serves, who are those that are often discounted by society. She has helped not only those on the needle exchange program, but has gone above and beyond helping others. In an example, by getting word out to our prostitutes about violent Johns and things like that. At other times, she's driven a needle exchange van on Sprague as an outreach to those in need. Now that they come to her, the needle exchange program is a place that people know and do not fear coming to, and a place that our local law enforcement community respects. Her work has helped the general citizens understand that those who are addicted deserve the same protections from disease as everyone else. On behalf of the board, I would like to thank Lynn for her dedication and amazing work, particularly in making our needle exchange program one of the most effective in, I would say, the nation. So on behalf of the board, I would like to present Lynn with this fine plaque.
How about a standing ovation?
It means a lot to us as a board that we have folks like you that tirelessly work for our community. Thank you so much.
You can take one.
I just want to say that I am truly grateful for having the opportunity to hold that helping hand to people for the last 27 years, and that can only be afforded by a health district that's willing to take responsibility for everyone in our community. Thank you.
Yes, Mr. Baldwin.
Since we don't need a quorum for the executive session, maybe we could do that while we're waiting for other members.
We have a health officer report.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll push that down on the.
Okay, just a suggestion.
I'm thinking. I'm the worst chair ever. I'd like to give the board a brief update on the Health Officer Selection Committee update. We did have one meeting. I have had some business issues that I've had to attend to for my own personal business, so I've fallen behind. But I want to say that Mr. Baldwin here has stepped into the role and met with was kind enough on behalf of the selection committee to meet with the executive leadership team, and has going to bring bring some comments from the executive leadership team back to the selection committee. We have a couple more meetings with other health district officials that I need to arrange, and we'll be arranging those this week and next week. And hopefully by our next meeting, we will have completed our internal discussions as the selection committee, and we'll be moving forward on making a formal presentation to the board on where we wish to go if we determine that there needs to be any changes to job description or types of duties of the position at that time. What I'd like to do then at that point is to begin actually working with staff to begin finalizing the job description and get that out there and begin soliciting candidates. So we will move on. In the meantime, I will be working with Dr. McCullough to ensure that he is in a position that he can continue to function as the interim health officer, and if he cannot, we will make arrangements with other health district for coverage, so that won't be an issue, but we will get that resolved. And so I'll be relying on Torney and other folks in the health officer selection committee to get this stuff accomplished and get it done in a timely manner for the board. Any questions on the selection committee process by anyone? Thank you. We did complete our Spokane Regional Health District, the state audit. We received a glowing report from the state auditor agency, and I want to thank everybody in our comptroller and legal and everybody who makes that possible, so thank you very much. Michelle, is there anything that you wish to add to that? Everything was great. We had no material findings, no anything else?
Better answered by Torney.
Torney?
No, it was a clean audit.
Period.
It's as good as you can get.
That's the best kind of statement. Spokane Valley representatives, Spokane Valley Board of Health representatives. The board is sending a formal letter to the City of Spokane Valley to remind them that they need to appoint their Board of Health officers. I can say that they have recently filled two of their outstanding positions, and it is my understanding that at their next regular meeting they will be reorganizing their board appointments, and so by the next meeting we should have our levy filled again from the City of Spokane Valley. Do we have any Board of Health Committee updates? Finance? Anybody wish to from the committees have any updates?
We haven't met.
We'll have a meeting in July. Bob, anything? And Amber's not here for policy, so I think at that point, Amber, we had a policy meeting, and we're trying to come up with some ideas on some ways to go forward on policy, so hopefully at some point we will have a meeting or a report on that from Amber. Not hopefully, we will. I think that's it for chair reports. Is there any questions for the chair from the board? Or anything I haven't covered? Thank you. So moving on to item number 5, a health officer report. So Lindia, if you would mind from disease prevention.
Now it is. Good afternoon. So some of you may remember from my Disease Prevention and Response Division report, I did talk a little bit about STDs and immunizations. I did want to give an update. So over the past 5 years, gonorrhea, chlamydia, and syphilis just continue to rise. And we're really at an epidemic stage. And I'm feeling the need to talk about additional staffing. So the rates of gonorrhea from 2010 to current has gone from 29 cases per 100,000 to 107 cases per 100,000. Chlamydia has gone from 343 cases per 100,000 to 446. And then the most serious, primary and secondary syphilis cases, have gone from 11 cases in 2014 to 28 in 2015, and currently we're at 28 just for half of 2016. So syphilis is very serious and very contagious, and we really are needing to consider where we need to go with this. Because of the increase in cases, we've really had to shift who's doing what in our agency. We have a full-time DOH infectious disease investigator that has always in the past done all of the syphilis cases, and because of the increase, we've had to move our internal staff to help with those cases, along with an HIV staff person. So in 2012, we had 2 full-time disease investigators, but that's when a lot of the state funding went away, and we had to lay off one of those positions. So at this point, we really need to consider putting on another position and find funding for that. There is a RCW that requires a timely staff review of cases, and the requirement is 3 days of case completion. We have never been at that stage of being able to follow up on all STD cases. We average around 10 days to complete a case. So, and that's statewide, but it's all due to staffing levels. Then the other area of preschool immunizations, and I did talk about this in my disease prevention response report, but our little 19 to 35-month-old childhood series is at around 42% of completion. And we are in the bottom third of all the counties in the state. The state's at 58%. The nation is actually at 71%. So the western states seem to be a lot lower for whatever reason that is. But what's interesting is we have really been focusing staff time with the 6th grade and school completion series, and that has risen from 61% up to 83%. So we're actually doing really great, but I think what it shows is when you have staffing to focus on an area, things do improve. But we don't have the staff to focus on the preschool piece. So it's another area that I think I'll plan on seeking another position, and then really work with the pediatrician offices and helping get those rates up. Both of these areas, STDs and immunizations, are really core foundational public health services, and so making sure that we're staffed appropriately is really important. Questions?
Do you have demographics for the STDs?
We do. I don't have that with me, but we have it all, male, female, race, everything.
Does anything pop out at you?
No, it's in the younger population, and when I say younger, it's mostly in gonorrhea and syphilis is the 18 to 30-year-old range. Chlamydia remains to be a lot of the teenagers.
Thank you.
Yeah. Bob?
Yeah, I guess I would just put a plug in for Lindy's request for additional staffing. Just in the past week, we've been working with Julie Zink, who's a DOH representative over here, looking at Bicillin. Bicillin is the antibiotic of choice for syphilis. And we're seeing, 100-fold plus increase in syphilis. And there is a national shortage on Bicillin, so at Rockwood, we don't have access to it. So what Julie and Kirsten, the agency representative for STDs, has done is they are on call. And so they will, if we have somebody in the clinic who potentially has a positive contact, they will deliver Bicillin for us. That's one person taking the time out of his or her day to run medicine around to do that. And then I think of also the complexity of coming up with some of these contact histories. I mean, if I shared with you the history that I tried to take yesterday of a patient who came in with chlamydia, it took me probably 45 minutes just to try to connect the dots. And then you multiply that by the number of people that the agency is seeing that they have to report and follow up on, and it's no wonder that there's a 10-day lag time. And that 10 days of lag time is potentially time when that person can be infecting other people.
That's right.
So I think Linda's request is very well justified. In the clinic right now, as I said, if I probably see an STD case evaluation at least once every other shift. And as I said, it's been really interesting for me. The demographics are, as Linda said, I mean, they're young people, but I'm also seeing people of all ages. Interestingly enough, nationwide, some of the highest rates of STDs are in seniors. So I think that's, again, it's not just a kid problem. Chlamydia is not just a kid problem anymore. It's across all age demographics. And so I think Linda's request is very well justified.
The staff have indicated to me that a syphilis case actually is more time-intensive than an HIV case because they're so complex. Keith?
Yeah, just a quick question. I know the universities have had to work with STDs for years. Do they have a whole separate organization to deal with that, or is it just a part of their normal health services?
Are you talking about the residency program?
Not specifically, no. I'm just concerned that the universities have always had problems in the past, and
okay.
just wondered if they had their own sort of organized programs around STDs.
To some degree, they have student health services in all of the universities, and so they can also test and treat. They also have a lot of prevention programs. I particularly know about the one at Eastern Washington University. Yeah, and that's the whole other area that we don't have staffing for, is just the prevention aspect and really getting some strong messaging out there and things. So we did talk about this at our executive leadership team on Tuesday, and the team was very supportive of us looking at the budget this next year and figuring out how we could support 2 more positions.
So is that something we'll see at the next board meeting? Excellent. Thank you.
All right, thanks.
Anything else from Lydia? Thanks, Lydia. 20.
Good afternoon. I have a few fairly unrelated items. First, to recall for you the visit that we're having from the Assistant Secretary of Health, Dr. Karen DeSalvo, on July 11th. She will be here to learn from Spokane as one of 5 communities she is visiting across the nation as she promotes a concept that she calls Public Health 3.0, which is what is the evolution of public health across the nation over the last decade, and in some instances refers back to Public Health 1.0 being pre-antibiotic time. But she has looked at a variety of communities across the nation, and Spokane is one that she believes has been moving in the direction that she thinks public health in the nation needs to be going. So all of you should have received information about that, an opportunity to partake and attend, so we would appreciate it if you can do so. And I know some of you are actually helping us out in specific parts of that agenda. Secondly, I wanted to call your attention to an article that was just in the newspaper this Tuesday looking at Partners in Parenting, which is about our nurse-family partnership program that is here, and to also just call your attention to a workbook that they have put together, a toolkit called 123 Care, that is designed to be utilized by parents, grandparents, people who care for kids, law enforcement, agencies that have access to assisting children in any number of ways. And they have done many, many presentations. This is now used internationally. The beginning of it started here with materials that were put together by our Nurse Family Partnership Program. They then have gotten support to include information that has been generated from other sectors and other communities to put together this toolkit, but it has recently been adopted and been used in Australia. So it's getting about. The furthest that I know about its use in the U.S. is in Florida. So it is really getting around. If any of you have an interest because you have association with child care in some regard, or grandchildren or children, there is online a 123 CARE request form, or if you let Ann know, we would be happy to put together a binder of the materials for each of you. Exceptionally well done and great information that can be used to benefit kids addressing issues around ACEs.
Is it available, is it in a PDF format online, or?
Yes, it
has
is.
to be
It's on our website, PDF form, so that you can get it, download it and print it if you wish.
Yeah, Tony, I've reviewed that online, and it really is excellent, so they've done a nice job.
Oh, thank you. It's a real tribute to the quality of the work they do, and another tribute to why Spokane is being visited by Dr. DeSalvo. Thirdly, wanted to let you know that the report from Environmental Public Health will come in the July meeting on August 18th. So Ray will be able to update you on that. He's been incredibly busy both with legal issues and with restaffing due to retirements that have been going on. And then finally, most of you have seen all the signage in the building because our elevators are now under repair. We're looking at anywhere from 12 to 15 weeks for each of them. So the front elevator is now down for about the next 4 months. And then as soon as that's done, we will be refurbishing the employee elevator. In that time, we are having ThyssenKrupp, who has been the contractor for our elevators, inspecting the existing elevator twice a month, so that we can, as best we can, assure that it stays viable the whole time that we're living on one elevator. So those are the things I have for updates. Any questions?
Questions for Tony?
Great. Thank you.
Thank you, Tony. Next is our comptroller report from Mike.
Thank you. Thank you. As you see, there's a new agenda item on there called Comptroller Report. And just to let you know a little bit of how that came about is the audit that Mayor Freeman was talking about. We had our audit. It went very well as he spoke. I do want to thank Keith Baldwin and Mayor Freeman for coming to the audit exit. It was a very nice interaction with us and the auditors. And one thing I do want to point out is it's not just the comptroller and finance department that the audit's all about. It's the work that all the division directors and the program managers do of really understanding their grants and spending the grant money appropriately is really what it's all about. That's what they're here looking through, trying to figure out how you're spending your money. So we're very proud to, about our 4th year in a row, have absolutely no findings, no management results. And so there did, however, there was a small little exit item they were talking about, and one of them was to make sure we keep our board informed of financials, big purchases, goings on in the agency. And so Mayor Freeman, hearing that, he brought that up at the exec committee of the board, and as it was discussed, Mayor Freeman and Commissioner O'Quinn said, you know what, their entities, the treasurer gives a report every month. Every month the treasurer comes and talks. How come we don't hear from the comptroller here? And so I looked at it, and Tony looked at me and goes, you're going to start reporting every month. So this begins the reporting every month. I'll be trying to bring you new grants we're doing, where dollars are at. In the past, I used to, and I've been here 20 years, so in the past we used to do quarterly financial reports. Either I'd come present to the board or at least would mail out to the board, and somewhere along the way, the presentation ones got lost because there were so many other topics being talked about that I kept getting bumped off the agenda. And so I talk about that once a year, maybe about our end of year stuff, but never quarterly. I'm committed to go back to getting at least a quarterly report back, if not a monthly, and getting it emailed out to everybody. So at least if there's any questions, they can fire questions back and say, how's this going? And we'll follow that along. So that being said, this month, because we just found out about this a couple weeks ago, I didn't prepare slides slides. I wasn't ready to give it for this month. Promise we'll move forward next month to do it, but some of the topics next month that are going to be really exciting to talk about are new budgeting tools we're trying to use for our agency as we move into the budget process. We're also going to have the fee schedule next month that we're going to bring as an action item to look at the fee schedule, and a 2016 budget amendment for the current year for some new money coming in, including some of the state marijuana money that's starting to come in and grow some programs here. So I want to make sure that, and then also following that up, because June should be over and it'll be in July, August, so I'll be given the report. We can do either a half year or a quarterly report to make sure those are up and running for people to know. Also in July is the next meeting I have with the Budget and Finance Committee of the board. So we're going to get together, and besides going over those things I mentioned, the fee schedule and the budget amendment, I'll give them a list of topics of stuff that I could talk about up here and hopefully get some suggestions from them on what would be of interest to the whole board to be able to present for you all. So thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak, and look forward to more months.
Any questions for Mike? Thank you, Mike.
All right, thank you.
Next item is approval of the consent agenda, or consideration of the consent agenda consisting of the May 26, 2016 meeting minutes and the May vouchers. Do I hear a motion on the consent agenda?
So moved.
A second?
Second.
Moved and seconded. Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? None. Consent agenda is passed. Item number 8, we have no action items, and it is my understanding that for item number 9, reports, we have no reports. So we will move to item number 10, which is an executive session consisting of a discussion with legal counsel regarding agency litigation pursuant to RCW 42.30.1101I. How long are we thinking, Michelle?
15 minutes.
We will ask for an executive session of 15 minutes. At that time, we will reopen the meeting. So we're looking at reconvening at 1:15. Thank you very much. We have come out of executive session at 1:17 and are re-entering our regular meeting. For the next item is board member check-in. Let's begin with Bob Lutz. Nancy.
I'm here.
Yay! Oh yes, let us reflect that we had a quorum with the arrival of Ms. McLaughlin and Ms. O'Quinn. Brian.
I just had a brief update. City Council last night had a forum on the various effects of oil trains given the disaster in Oregon, and Mike Lascola from the Health District talked about contamination and monitoring, and just he acquitted himself very well, and so I just wanted to pass that on, and he did a good job. The State Department of Health also participated on drinking water issues. So, and it was a very, just if you weren't, it was a very broad base. We had Mayor Higgins from Spokane Valley talking about train separation issues and aquifer issues that they're worried about out in the valley.
Michelle O'Quinn.
Just the reason Commissioner McLaughlin and I were late was that we were celebrating the retirement of Judge Durr, who has served 21 years on District Court for Spokane County. So she's spent lots of time with us, and we wanted to make sure that we thanked her for her service. So I apologize for being late, but we did show up to give you your quorum.
To speak on the oil train issue, City of Millwood today received notification that we've received a grant from WUTC for $300,000 to signalize our last ungated crossing in the city. So Union Pacific has been a recently willing participant in moving this project along. And so we will, that's a shovel-ready project, so we will begin working on that probably this year. So that was some good news for us. Otherwise, nothing on the city side. Well, that concludes board member check-in. Our next regular thank you. Yeah, sorry. Our next regular Board of Health meeting is the July meeting on August the 18th, 2016. So please let Ann know. We believe we will be able to have a quorum at that meeting. So please let Ann know if any of your plans have changed. And otherwise, do I have a motion for adjournment?
So moved.
Second? Meeting adjourned.